Which way we going?
Oh, y'all just line up behind the podium right there, be fine. Now come on in, don't be shy. How is everybody? Good?
He wants us back here.
Yeah, get wherever y'all want to get, be comfortable. We're gonna probably be here for a few minutes.
So you're not behind that.
I have to wear these now. How are you? I ain't seen you in a while. You doing good? Good. Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for being here. Those who don't know me, I'm Sheriff Phil Sims here in Marshall County, and I've asked several people to be here with me today, and I'll explain why here in just a few minutes. But again, thank you for being here. Today, we are doing a press release related to a cold case homicide back from 1997, where a body was located on Little Cateco Creek just off of Eagle Rock Road in Union Grove, which, if you don't know, it's really right there on the county line, close to the Morgan County line. The body was identified as that of a white male at the time. However, due to removal of the hands, head, and feet, he was impossible to give an accurate age or description or to identify. There was also some other mutilation of the body which appeared to be consistent with some way of called forensic countermeasure to obscure any kind of way to identify the body. The autopsy results found the manner of death was a homicide, and removal of the body parts was done intentionally, most likely to, like I said, to make identification of the body impossible. Investigators from the Marshall County Sheriff's Office and State Bureau of Investigation, the DA's office, worked tirelessly to identify the individual, and they followed up on numerous leads, but were still unsuccessful in making a positive identification. The case was entered into the FBI's VICAP, which is the Violent Criminal Apprehension Program. However, there was no credible leads generated there either. So throughout the years, leads stopped coming in, and eventually the case went cold. I failed to mention, too, the FBI was involved from the get-go on the investigation in this case. Today, I would like to announce that after 26 years, the deceased individual has now been identified as Jeffrey Douglas Kinsey of Santa Barbara, California. Willie, would you change the visual there? Now, kind of give you a way what timeline of how we got to this process. We're going to kind of go over it real quick, so just bear with me. So what happened, there come advancements, improvements in DNA and genealogical research. And in November of 19, myself and Chief Investigator at the time, Keith Wilson, who's here with us today, made contact with a company called Parabon Nanolabs. They're a DNA technology company that deals a lot with genealogy. And through a process called DNA phenotyping, Parabon could give us some possible physical characteristics of what our subject may have looked like. Now, at the time, that's the bottom left was a composite that was drawn from that phenotyping through the DNA. So after what happened, they started doing that, and then we started receiving our first report. We had the composite. So we put that out to the media. Some of you may have already seen that or have researched it. At the time, we put it out to the media to try to generate some leads who may have known him or knew that individual at the time. Then Chief Investigator Orr at the time, after Keith had retired, and Roger Sparks spoke with genealogists from Parabon again. She explained that she'd been located or been working on this, and she located a much closer DNA family match than what the previous leads had indicated. She informed us that she had located DNA sequencing that indicated that our unidentified remains had a close family match who resided in Santa Barbara, California. She explained that the match was close enough that the remains were closely related to that individual. She was able to provide us with a name for a known close relative who at the time resided in Madison, Tennessee. On August 31st, the investigator Ward made contact with the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office. They received a call from Alegria. Detective Alegria produced us the first real piece of information regarding who Jeffrey Kimsey was. Detective Alegria was able to locate an incident report that was filed on May 8th of 1997. The report listed Jeffrey Kimsey as a possible offender in that case. On September 2nd, investigators traveled to Madison, Tennessee and met with an individual who's believed to be a close relative to Jeffrey Kimsey. We found out from this interview that Kimsey's biological parents were still alive and well, living in California. Investigators began the process of obtaining subpoenas for San Marcos High School to attempt to locate any records of Jeffrey Kimsey. That's where these pictures here come from. These are from the yearbooks from the high school. So on September 6th, Detective Alegria, again, we talked to him again, and requested that he go to the address in Santa Barbara, California that we had, and talk with the parents where we received DNA samples from those parents, from those individuals. Once the DNA sample was obtained, it was sent back to us. We sent State Forensics Lab, and it came back a match for Jeffrey Kimsey. That's how he was identified. So, so right now through September 22 to present, this is where we're at. Investigators have worked diligently to piece together Kimsey's life from the time that the body was found till now and how he got here. And we have developed some useful leads. It's still unknown exactly how he come to be deceased in that shallow creek in western Marshall County. However, we are still actively working this investigation. Now, there are many investigators who worked on this case over the course of many years. That's why these guys are here, and these are some of the investigators that have worked over the case over the years. I know they would like to see this case solved, but having a positive identification will help us get closer to solving this case. I want to thank all the investigators, the people of Parabon who worked tirelessly on this case, the FBI, Alabama Department of Forensic Science, our DA's office, and to everyone involved if I left anyone out. Now, with that said, I'd like to say one other thing that's not on this paper. We are asking the public that if anybody from that time era may have known Jeffrey Kimsey, knew his whereabouts, who he hung out with, affiliations, to please contact the Sheriff's Office, 256-582-2034. And if you can provide us any information then of what could have happened or anything, please give us a call. Also, since then, DNA technology has advanced to places I didn't think it ever could go, I guess, when I was a young investigator. So we have evidence now from the scene that we're looking at for possible DNA matches for potential suspects. So we'll be working with Parabon and our forensic science of the state on that aspect. And also I'm happy to announce today that we do have persons of interest in this case. And we will be investigating those angles and those aspects of who those persons are and their involvement in this case. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to our District Attorney, Jennifer Bray, have her say a few words.
Thank you, Sheriff Sims. First, I want to thank all the law enforcement that has worked tirelessly over this case over the past 30-odd years, and also specifically Sheriff Sims and his team of investigators for investing not only the time but the resources to use Parabon to be able to identify Mr. Kimsey. We hope that the public comes forward with information and that we are able to gather more information through DNA testing, and we are eager to be able to hold accountable the person that's responsible for the homicide of Mr. Kimsey. Thank you.
We have many investigators, like I said before, here with us today. You know, cases like this stick with you throughout your career. We have some here who are retired, who are back to work some who are retired, and we'd like to see this case solved, some arrest made out of it. Those type cases will eat at you for a long time. So with that, we'll take any questions.